Damn, this is very, very easy. Oh, I can actually turn the resistance up. Let's try. Still too easy. Still too easy. Oh, hello there. Yeah, you know, we want a strong grip as well. I think this one can be turned up to like 60 kgs, 60 kilograms. What is that? 130 pounds or something like that? 32 pounds. Yeah. Well, enough of that. What's up, bro? You want to talk a little bit about your progress? Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's talk about that. If you don't want to talk about me, then let's talk about your progress, of course. So how are you feeling? We had a training yesterday. How are you feeling after that training? You've been training for like what, 2-3 months now, I think. Yeah, of course. So you're not that sore anymore. Mostly in the first week. Yeah, the first couple of weeks are the hardest when you are trying to get a new habit, and especially if there's soreness combined with that habit, you know. So, yeah, when you're over that, then it's quite good again. I was actually expecting you to come by and we could talk a little about your progress, so that is not something that I find surprising, due to we actually did talk about you coming after a couple of months, and then we could just take you through that. Yeah, so I have my handy dandy clipboard right here, and we'll just write some numbers down. Then we can just track it. Just getting that right now. It's just my smart clipboard right here. I really enjoy this. Okay, so I will do some measurements here in a minute, but a couple of minutes. But let's just talk a little bit about your progress with some of the bigger lifts and the lifts that you actually enjoy and that we have tracked a little bit. So, in your dumbbell press, you started with, was it like 20 pounds you started with each hand? So, yeah. And that was quite hard back then, or was it mostly a stability issue, in your words? Yeah, a little bit of stability, and you have also learned the exercise much more, yeah. So now you are actually up doing, was it 45 pounds dumbbells? Yeah. The other day you did in each hand, or was it 50? Yeah, it was 45, wasn't it? Yeah. And if you should say the 20-pound dumbbells from a scale of 1 to 10, how would that be in how difficult was that? Maybe an 8? And what about the 45 pounds? We did it in like 8 repetitions here in the last set. Is 7, you would say. Do you think that you will be able to go up to 50 pounds if you have me as a spotter behind you? You do? Nice. And yeah, I would also try to get 8 reps there, but 6 reps was also sufficient. I'm just writing So that was the dumbbell press. Yeah, I like to use dumbbell press, as you know, as I told you before. It's a little bit better than bench press for the shoulders, the shoulder health, in my opinion. Okay, and what about the squat exercise? Just normal back squats. I know we've also done some hack squats and something like that, pendulum squats as well, but we've done back squats the most, and we did that yesterday. So you started with, was it like, yeah, the barbell is like 45 pounds, and then you had 10 pounds on each side. You're also quite a tall guy, so of course they can also do something with it as well. You have a lot more knee flexion then, or you have a lot more traveling than I do, because I'm not that tall. I'm 5'7", you're like 6'1", right? So yeah, you're quite a tall guy, so you have a lot more knee traveling, leg traveling, whatever you want to call it. But there was like 65 pounds actually only. Sorry, I said only. And now, was it like 25 pounds you had on? On each side? So it was actually equal to 95 pounds. So that's quite good. We of course want to get a lot bigger numbers on that, especially since it is some bigger exercises. So there was dumbbell press and it was squat. And the last exercise that I actually want to talk about right now is the deadlift we are doing as well. It's actually mostly because of you I am beginning with to deadlift again. Normally I've been deadlifting for so long and it's a good exercise, but for me it doesn't make sense anymore because I have the basic strength and the basic build, you know. So I like to do some other exercises. It's a great exercise though. There you started with 135, I think. You are quite stronger in deadlift than your squat. And now you're up to like 170, 180. What would you say it is about that? And that's quite good for the amount of time you've been training, and that I also put so much emphasis on doing the correct way, you know, with good form. If you train with some other people that do not emphasize that good form, the correct form, that much as I do, then you could be very, very much increased in weight in the exercises, but this will really help you in the long run, that you are just doing it the right way. Yeah, also, when you're getting at a certain age, then the damages can just be piling on, you know, and we want to do it also for the health benefit as well, and not just strength and looks, but health is also very beneficial and something that we are combining with strength and looks as well. So I actually think that was quite good with the lifts, especially when the emphasis that I put on correct form. I do now have my handy dandy measuring tape, and this is also where you shine a little bit more than if you were trained with some other person, because my emphasis have also been on gaining strength, size, and of course gaining a certain look with a little bit more size added to you. When you're doing the correct form, when you're doing the correct technique, and you're actually hitting the muscle groups that you need to hit, then you will also get bigger, and the strength aspect will also be very much more beneficial in the long run. So you should be able to put on more size this way. So let's just check your biceps. Can you just give a good flex? Yeah, I like to flex as well, even though I do not train that much anymore. So just give a good flex. And when I mean flex, I want you to, I see when a lot of people start flexing the bicep because you might not be used to flexing your bicep. You of course flex your bicep when you're lifting stuff, but put your wrist like this and go from there to there. Then you get that little peak on the bicep as well, a little bit better, and that is where I want to take the measurement. So if you just do that. And I can just put it around here, and then I will just click this button, and then it can go in to the right amount. So just flex. And the other arm as well. So if you just flex that arm as well. So I will just check last time's numbers. Okay, so you can see that your biceps has actually grown about 1.5 inches in 3 months, I think. It says it's around 3 months, a little bit less, but yeah, around 3 months. So that is extremely good, extremely impressive. There's of course this thing called noob gains. So when you just start training, then you will experience a little bit more gain, and that is just something that I say not to diminish your gains, but just so that you know, when you have hit around a year, normally it's like a year, the new gains is something that you are actually can get. Like those new gains, it's very much in the beginning. So just so you know, after that year, it will be less and less frequent that you will get inches off on a couple of months, So just have that in mind, so you do not get discouraged. So that was the biceps, and it's actually quite equal. I think the right bicep was a little bit bigger than the left, but I think that the symmetry part is great as well. So let's take a chest measurement. If you just take a normal breath and just hold it, not all the way in and not all the way out. We do not want you flat, and we do not want you extremely full of air, because that's not what we are trying to achieve. We're just trying to see if you just take a long breath and hold it. When I say chest, it's of course the chest that we measure, but it's also the lats and just the whole width actually. But we just call it a chest measurement because it's around the chest, if that makes sense. Hope it makes sense. So just take a normal breath in, like that, and hold it. Then I will just measure. I'll be quick, I promise. And I will do a measurement now around you. Okay, I just have to look at the last time. and I actually see that it is 4.5 inches that you have actually grown in the chest area. I can also see that your chest has become a little bit fuller. You have developed something that we can now call a chest, not like the last time where it was just completely flat. I do see some muscle mass there, but I think that I can see on your back that's the part that has grown the most. So you are one of the lucky few that has a genetically gifted back, and that is awesome because it can be quite hard to train because you cannot directly see it when you train it. When you train your chest, of course you cannot look down at your chest normally, but if you angle yourself, then you can look in the mirror when you're doing a lot of the incline presses, and that is not something that we are able to do that much when we are training back, because if you just look at yourself when you do some back exercises, then you will actually look at the side in the mirror, and that do not position our neck very well. But very impressive. I'm very impressed by this, especially when most of it has gotten to the back. That's quite impressive. A little bit to the chest, so nice as well. Now let's see the quadriceps. And by the quadriceps, of course, I mean the thighs. So here you cannot suck in air just like the biceps. You cannot suck in air the biceps. You can give it blood flow. But right now, if you just do a small bend in the knee, just a very small bend in the knee, just to flex your thigh, then I will just go a few inches down from the groin and then measure there. Is that okay? And then we do both thighs. So first off, I measure. And the reason why I do not look at the numbers first before I measure is when you look at the numbers first, then you might have some tendency to try to hit that number again. So if I measured one part and I wanted to get that close, I wanted to get a bigger number, just with the unconsciously, then it's better to not have the number in mind. Then I can just measure where I believe the measurement should be, and then that is just a lot better measurement. So if you just flex your thigh a little bit, knee bend. And now the other leg. Okay, so quite symmetrical as well, so that's nice. I'll just look at the old number. Okay, so we actually do see that the old number was also quite good when you were talking about thighs, and we do talk about thighs, so that should not be a surprise. But your thighs have actually grown 2.5 inches, which is also very fine, especially because when you have the size of thighs that you actually did have, then 2.5 inches is extremely much. And I also sometimes think that when you are having these big jumps, especially in the beginning, then it's also because you get the right food down and your body just uses these nutrients very, very, very good in the beginning, and just fills the muscle up with the right nutrients, and get good blood flow and a lot fuller. They can also use the glycogen from the right carb sources that we're actually using. Before you also got carbs, you got protein, you got fat, but since you started on this training program and a little bit of the diet, then I just think the body utilizes it a lot better, especially the glycogen. So as it seems, we have been doing very, very good progress in the gym. And you should also be doing good progress, because I do think that I'm quite a good coach, and I've been giving, I know that we're gym bros, but I see myself as a coach as well, because I do train you, of course. So yeah, you see me as a coach as well, right? Yeah. Okay. When we are at this point, I think that you have also been doing so well, so I want to give you a recovery treatment. Yeah. As you know, I am a massage therapist, and I do have a lot of utilities as well I can use on just simple things, just to get the stress hormone, cortisol, to a nice level. I know that you have talked a little bit about that you are a little bit stressed, not extremely much, but enough so it can actually give you diminishing returns, in the gym and with sleep as well. And if there's something that we want to maximize, it's recovery, especially with the sleep. So I do have my Gracia tool right here. I want to do some Gracia here at the little bit on the throat, not that much, and a little bit on the chest, and a little bit on the neck, and the trapezius. The reason why I also want to hit a little bit on the throat here is because the throat has connective tissue, and also this muscle platysma, which is a big muscle here in the front that connects down to the chest. So I would just do that a little bit. Is that okay? Or is it weird? It is weird, but it's okay. Nice. So we just pull down here on the chest, get a little bit on the stretch of the platysma, and then we'll just scrape. Not so much scoop. We do not scoop right here. We just scrape, 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 scrape. A little bit on the platysma. Not hard, just to get a little bit of blood flow at the platysma muscle, which connects down to the chest as well, of course. Because when you take the head backwards, then it connects down here. Also the sternocleidomastoideus does as well, which will also hit a little bit. So if you just put your head a little bit to the side, then also hit the sternocleidomastoideus. So just hit the sternocleidomastoideus. I do hope that it is how you pronounce it in English. It is when you are just talking about Latin, And the other side, then I will hit this sternocleidomastoideus. Just a little bit. And now when I have your head at this side, then I'm also just take a little bit of the trapezius, as you also are taking that on the other side, but we'll do that after. Just a little bit on the trapezius as well, down at the scalenes. We have a back part of the scalenes, the middle and the anterior scalene, and they do some head rotation and stuff like that. We also want to hit those a little bit. Just a little bit of those as well. And the other side, I just only hit on the right angle so we get a little bit of stretch, but not too much. So I think it will legs as well when I do this, of course. Now for the chest. Thankfully you do not have a hairy chest, so it makes it a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit easier. want to go out a little bit on the shoulders, as well. So that was just a little bit of the Gracia treatment. Now I just want to give you a little bit of a rub, just to get down on these areas as well, you know. You know, at the bottom part of the neck, you know. So just a little bit right here as well. Is it nice? I'm glad you find it nice as well. And a little bit out on the shoulders. A little bit out on the shoulders. I want to take my fingers and go up like this. I think it's great that we can help each other as team bros. Especially now when I have a good team bro. You are training very, very hard. And you have very good intensity in your workout. And being able to keep up with someone who's been training for a long time. Even though that I am a little bit older now than when I was young. Than when I was at my peak. And I'm not at my peak anymore, then I do still train harder than a lot of people. And it's very nice of you to actually keep up with me, because it can be quite hard keeping up with a regular gym goer. And now the scalp, a little bit, just a little bit of the scalp. Stupid light. Stupid light. And apparently my stomach is growling a little bit. I've just eaten for not that long ago, but apparently it wasn't enough. I'm a little bit hungry, so I have to get some food. And you should also get some food as well after this, you know. We can just take some food together. So, do you feel a little bit refreshed? Was it nice to get your measurements checked? Both your measurements and also your lifts checked? I'm glad I can help you a little bit with that. And I think that we should do this regularly after 3 months again here. At the beginning, after a year, then it just flows naturally, you know. But it's nice here to get some motivation, and when you're getting some good measurements, you're getting some good gains, then that is just a lot of motivation, and I'm happy to help you on this journey. So let's say